You're on the West London VEER preview of Brunel University Psychology Steer, a course designed to make you go around some tightish bends and have to steer properly. This is all part of our cycling skills series. So this is the setup we're using. On the top left you can see we've entered this race in Pro Power. You do that per race. On the permanent level you've got the assists at the side, and you can set these up so that you're less likely to crash or more likely to crash, and depending on how new you are to it, you might prefer less skills when you get used to CADE. So let's have a look at how we've got it set up. Now you'll see there's several choices in there. Autopilot will steer you, so you don't need to steer. Auto power-ups we don't use either. Speedometer colouring we do, because that indicates when you're likely to crash on a bend. Traction control, TT mode off, of course. But most significantly here, look down there in the big white box, auto braking off. We need to brake as we go into bends, otherwise we'll crash. So let's see how we got on. Just warming up, we had a couple of crashes early on. You can see the speedometer at the bottom there goes into the red. I really needed to brake then and take myself out of the red zone on the speedometer before I crashed. So back on the bike there. Now that wasn't the only crash in the warm-ups, there were other ones as well. And just before we did the lap, this is the end of the previous lap. You can see coming up to this bend, you can see there's a sharp left-hand bend coming up. Now the speedometer, you can see the needles in the red. I don't slow down and I crash. And that's what happens in a race. You'll crash, you'll be delayed for a few seconds, and obviously the delay is a bit more than that because you have to speed up again afterwards. So back on the bike, and here we go now for a full lap of the Brunel University Psychology Steer course over the line, and you can see it's all nicely decked out in West London logos, kindly by the CADE Sports devs. Thank you very much, guys, much appreciated. Now you can see it's fairly straight here. This is going around a university campus. It slightly goes outside and around the outside as well. We get around that bend very comfortably, not going into the red on the speedometer in the bottom of your screen there, as you can see. Nice bit of straight, but this is all sort of sharp bends, and this is downhill at the moment as we go down towards the Uxbridge Road. But again, the bend's quite tight, and watch out for this one, little chicane, and I didn't do it properly. I didn't give it enough thought. Assumed that I could go straight through that and crashed, as you can see. So more delays as we go through the university campus. Nicely decked out with some buildings, and that was very kind of the CADE devs. I did mention that it was a kind of more urban setting than a lot of the rides we do, so they very kindly added some buildings in for us. And they also noted that it was in Britain, so misjudged that bend as well. So if you've got some of those assists, if you remember in the top right hand corner you click on assist, you get a drop down menu. If you click on those and you set them up so that you've got auto braking and various other things like traction control, you won't crash like that. However, it impedes your speed because it takes you well under, so you can go faster if you're willing to take the risk of crashing. I do love the puddles here, by the way. This is typical London puddly roads, isn't it? I think the devs took some pictures from London roads and did it exactly like they are. But like I say, if you choose to have the assists on so it'll stop you crashing on corners, there is a price to pay because it will take you well under the speed. And you could do them faster if you took the risk. So if you're good and skilled, take the risk because you'll probably get around faster. If you're not, it is going to impede your speed going around. And even with those controls on, it's not 100% certain that you're not going to crash. You still can crash actually, but it just actually takes the chances away a little bit because it'll brake you more, etc. So as I say, it's not a cheat to use the assists because you get, as I say, impeded by speed. So coming round again, and we have nearly done this course. There's only 500 meters to go. And we'll come up to that bend that I crashed on last time just before the start. Now let's see if I can get round it this time. You'll have seen that all the bends are pretty much sort of 90, maybe sort of 60 to 90 degree bends, and you are going to have to watch your speed on them, as I've demonstrated. As we come up to this last bend again, as we go around this left hand bend, you'll remember I was getting up, the sprint to the start line is not very far as we come around. Now the other guy just in front of us has got round around before. I've managed to stay on. I've got to sprint hard now because the finishing line is coming up, but put a bit of effort in and just pip the bot over the line. So that's it. Have fun when you race it.